In the village of Keso, there lived a woman called Ada. She was often referred to as Mama Ada, but a lot of persons preferred to call her Mama K because of her kitchen and cooking skill. Mama K was such a good cook that almost everyone in the village bought food from her. The men, the children, and even her fellow women all brought her food in the village of Keso. All the other women who could cook in the village were surprised on how Mama's K food was the best in the village. What was even more strange was the fact that she had only become a part of Keso village for a few months. I'm not really sure how she does it. The portion of food she serves her customers is always huge, and she also sells them big meat for cheap. One woman gossiped to her friend. She makes the other women look as though they don't know what they are doing with their cooking business. I don't even know how she does it, the other woman added. If only she was the talking type, we would have asked her how she does it, but she doesn't really talk to anybody except when she is selling food, so let's just keep to ourselves too. The last friend said. They were all observing Mama Ada from afar. Within a short period of time, Mama K had become so popular that other villagers no longer bought food from other women who used to cook. What made things worse was the fact that she sold food for the children so very cheap. Because of this, children were also gathering in numbers to buy food from her. Some of the villagers, especially the women, would even send their children to buy food from Mama Ada instead of them buying themselves, because they knew the food would be cheap when her children goes to buy it. Meanwhile, in the village, there was a girl called Stella. Stella's mother was a very good cook, and some even called her the best cook of the village. Stella had learned how to cook properly by learning from her mother. However, ever since Mama Ada started her own food business, people stopped buying from her. One day, Stella confronted her mother and told her that she would uncover the secret behind Mama K's special cooking. Stella's mother, however, warned her daughter that she should stay away from Ada and let the woman be. She warned that she could get in trouble for sticking into someone else's business. Despite her mother's warning, Stella did not listen. She had made up her mind to uncover Ada's secret. Stella also made sure to warn her little brother, Tolani, to never buy food that was gotten from Ada's pot, to which her younger brother agreed to. Meanwhile, something strange had been happening in the village that baffled everyone. For a few months, children in the village had been strangely disappearing without a trace. No one knew who was responsible and how it was even happening. What the villagers did not know, however, was that Mama K was the one responsible for the village children's strange disappearance. Ada, who had been secretly stealing children in the village and cooking them to the villagers without them knowing. She was able to do this easily because the food she cooked had a magical effect on children, and that is why she sold to the children very cheap. Any child that had succeeded in eating her food would be under a charm, and Ada could control them whenever she wanted. This was how she succeeded in taking the children and using them for food. One sunny afternoon, Stella went to meet her best friend Kemi to talk to her about Ada. She explained to her the same way she explained to her mother. Kemi listened and told Stella that whatever her plan was, that she needed to be careful. In the meantime, Stella's little brother, Tolani, was playing with his friends. They were out in the street of the village playing. One of Tolani's friends, John, then decided to buy food from Mama Ada's place. Getting to where she sold food, Mama K spoke. "My child, How are you? It seems you're the only one buying food, but you come with your friends. Don't worry, I'm going to put a lot of food for you so that you can share with your friends, Mama K said. John and the rest of the boys were so happy after they heard this. After getting the food, John shared with his friends. However, Tolani refused to eat. He told his friends. What rubbish, John said to Tolani. Mama K food is the best food in the village and you haven't tasted it. Why will your sister tell you to do such? John said angrily. After listening to his friend, Tolani gave in to the pressure and ate. The boys, however, did not know that as they had eaten the food, they could be controlled anytime by Mama K into her shrine in the forest. The next day, Mama Ada came to the market to sell her food as usual, and many persons flooded her place to buy food. Meanwhile, Stella had told her friend Kemi that today was the day she would discover Mama K's secret. Once she has finished selling, I will follow her to wherever she goes and discover her secret. I don't care if she goes to the ends of the earth. I will follow her, Stella said desperately. Kemi, who knew the kind of person her friend was, felt a bit scared for her, but she knew she would not be able to convince her otherwise. Later that afternoon, while Tolani and his friends were playing, Mama's K charm took hold of him. He then left his friends and wandered into the forest. He wandered deep into the forbidden part of the forest where the villagers dared not to enter. Later that evening, after Mama Ada was done selling for the day, she decided that it was time to call it a day. Meanwhile, Stella was watching Mama K from afar. Mama K took her pot and started to go into the forest while Stella followed her from behind. Stella wondered how come Mama K was heading into the forest while everyone was heading to their houses after work. She then began to think within herself that maybe she was right after all, and Mama K truly was doing something in secret that made her to sell her food. It got to a point. Mama Ada then crossed the boundary between the normal part of the forest and the forbidden part of the forest. However, Stella made up her mind that she was not going to go back to the village. She had already come far and she would see her mission through to the end. Mama Ada then stopped at a point in the forest where her shrine was. She dropped her pot and then went into the shrine. In the meantime, Stella, who was hiding behind a tree, decided to peep and see what was going on. As she did this, she was shocked at what she saw. Close to Mama Ada's store, Stella saw the clothes of the children on the floor, and she also saw bones close to them. She was horrified. It was at that moment she realized that the children who had been going missing in the village was the handwork of Mama Ada. Stella wanted to shout, but she held her mouth. However, what gave Stella the final shock of her life was when she saw a boy sleeping close to a tree that was just beside Mama Ada's hut. Behold, it was her little brother, Tolani. A sudden fear gripped Stella as she realized what was about to happen. Mama Ada was going to use her little brother to cook her next meal. There was no way she was going to let this happen. As Mama K went into the hut, Stella quickly rushed to where her brother was sleeping. She decided to carry him on her back and quickly run back to the village. She hoped that before Mama K realized that she and her brother had gone, it would be too late for her to chase them. However, she was very wrong. As soon as Stella got a hold of her brother and attempted to escape, Mama K grabbed her hand. Mama K was able to use her power to overwhelm Stella. She then tied her to a tree. What do you think will happen to Stella and her brother? Will they be able to free themselves and help their village? Find out in the next part. Please like and subscribe. Till we meet again.